let's make believers angry, not the goal. Today I want to talk about Justin Bieber, but like, I don't want to talk about Justin Bieber. I want to use what happened to Justin Bieber yesterday to talk about something that really matters. I saw this on Twitter yesterday, a few times actually, and I've got some thoughts. I've got some problems with it. The first one being my unawareness of the fact that getting high and drag racing are now symptoms of depression, and second of all is the diagnosis of depression itself. I am unaware of any press release or Justin himself coming out and saying that he is diagnosed as depressed. If I am wrong, let me know, but I have not heard of this. So for his fans to diagnose him as depressed leaves me a bit uneasy. I know for me, one of my least favorite things in the world ever is when people presume to know what I am feeling, or to know what I am thinking, because no one can really know what I am feeling or what I'm thinking unless I tell them, or unless they're me. I don't know what's going on in Justin Bieber's head currently, and that's my point. None of us know what's going on in Justin Bieber's head, except for Justin Bieber and the people he chooses to share what's going on in his head with. But that's not what I want to talk about at all, because really what I want to talk about is the implied message of all of this, and that is one of using mental health as an excuse for behavior. It's a natural reaction for us to defend those we love and to make excuses for those that we love because we don't want to view those we love as bad people. And most of the time when somebody does something bad, people outside of the situation will assume that that person is a bad person. It's very hard for somebody completely separated from a situation to empathize with whoever is involved in that situation, to think that a good person can do something bad, which is totally true. Good people can do bad things. Good people can hurt people. Everybody has hurt somebody at some point in their lives. So especially in the public eye, but this is also true for like personal experiences, when people are separated from a situation, their first gut reaction is to sort of assume that the person who did the bad thing is a bad person, while the people who are directly involved with that person are going to defend that person. That's totally natural. Both of these sides are wrong, because there's a lot of assumptions made on both sides. A lot of assumptions. In the same way that someone who is drunk can be held responsible for their actions while drunk, somebody who is depressed should be held responsible for their actions while they're depressed. Now, I am not saying that depression cannot cause good people to do bad things. It's caused me to do bad things. But the thing that helped me the most in recognizing that there was a problem and that I did need to fix it was when people told me and held me responsible for my bad decisions and my bad actions. When I was at my worst, I knew I was at my worst, but I was trying to manipulate people into making myself look like the victim, and I was oftentimes very successful at it. And being treated like you're the victim when in fact you're the one who's causing a lot of the problems, that's not gonna help you get better. For me, it helped me feel better in the short term, but it did not help me get better in the long term. It was only after I had very real consequences that I finally looked myself in the face and said something's gotta change here. I was incredibly fortunate in that I was able to see that and able to start making changes in my life and get myself back on track, because not everyone can do that. There are people in my life that have had those closest to them constantly reach out their hands, and yet to have them slap down, you know, because they're just, if somebody doesn't want to be helped, they're not gonna be helped. They have to want to be helped. I don't really like it when people use the phrase happiness is a choice, because happiness itself is not a choice, but the decision to work to get to happiness, to begin that process towards getting yourself better, that is a choice. But it's a choice that the person who is dealing with whatever feelings they're dealing with has to make. No one else can make that decision for them, and that's really hard to accept because you want to help people, especially those you love. You want to help them, but you can't really do anything if they don't want to do it. And sometimes, even though it might feel awful, the best way that somebody can see what they're doing wrong is if you tell them what they're doing wrong and you hold them responsible for what they did wrong. Because depression, even though it is sad and tragic and eats away at you personally, does not just affect you, it affects all of those who are involved with you in your life. In my personal recovery, I remember a phrase, and it's one that really sticks out in my mind and continues to stick out in my mind, and that's, addiction is a family disease. Yes, it affects one person, but it does not just affect one person. It affects everyone who your life currently is touching. And that is something that is really hard to accept, but it's also something that is really needed to be accepted. So in the end, yes, mental health problems and mental illness can hurt you, can hurt other people. However, mental illness does not define you. I have found in my experience that I have the most tendency to treat myself like a victim when I am feeling sorry for myself, that I am in whatever situation that I'm in, either state of mind-wise or physically. And that's not productive, because when you let your illness and your disease define who you are, you cannot beat that illness. Yes, I have been diagnosed with depression. I have been diagnosed with anxiety. I am an addict. However, those things do not define me. What defines me is what I do with the situation that I have been dealt. I can let those things eat away at me and turn me into a vegetable that lays on a couch and doesn't do anything, doesn't eat, doesn't sleep, doesn't do anything. I can do that. I've done that before, but that's not worth it. That doesn't feel good. That doesn't do anything for my life, and it doesn't do anything for those in my life around me. Or I could look at my problems head on, see the things that I've done because of those problems, own up to them, and move forward, because it seems like that's the only option I have. And while this is a process that involves other people, it starts with me. It has to start with me, because this is my problem. These are the things that I have done. I have to own up to them. I have to see what I have done. I have to see the problems that I have, and I have to say, okay, how can we make sure that I don't let these things define me? Now, I'm not going to sit here and bash Beliebers for posting pictures like that. It comes from a good place. You know, you support the artist, you support the person, you're a fan of him. That's totally fine. That's totally valid. But the best way to help him right now is to not make excuses for him. The reason that you like him, the reason that you're in this fandom, this community, is because you love him, because you love the community surrounding him, his music, whatever. You like him. And that's what it should be about. It shouldn't be about tearing others down who may have opinions that differ from your own. That's not really what this is about right now, because if he is really struggling, if he is really suffering, people making excuses for him is not gonna help him. That's all I've got to say about that. I'm curious, like always, to see what you guys have to think in the comments, not just about like Justin Bieber and all that, but about the stuff I was talking about. The meat of this video, really. But I think that is about it. As always, I'm Connor Manning. You've just become a little more awesome, and I will see you guys on Monday. I just got really excited, you guys, because I thought I lost these. How cool. These are pretty great. They're a bit dusty, but I can fix that. I can. That's something that's in my skill set. I can fix these. That's pretty much all I gotta say on the glasses front for the end screen, but I just wanted to let you know that I found these. So